All right, good afternoon, folks. I have 12 o'clock on the dot, and I know we have a full agenda. This is going to be a great presentation today, so thank you all for joining. Our speaker is going to be amazing, and he's already inspired me. I'm going to get some hold music. You can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. I'm going to get some hold music that I can play while everybody's waiting for every one of these webinars to go. So looking forward to that. Today, another Wednesday webinar. Thanks for joining us. I repeat this every month when we do it. I'm not going to read it out loud. The important part is I'm putting this stuff out here for public information officers and other communicated related fields because there's not a ton of training out there available to us easily. If you have any suggestions for topics or speakers, please let me know, and I will see what I can do for future. We do have, I believe, all of our speakers booked through August currently, so we've got a good slate coming up over the next 6 months. Today's topic is going to be a great one, using smartphone video and live streaming to communicate effectively in a crisis. Online video is a critical communication tool during a crisis. We have the Livestream Expert here to teach us the basics of using smartphone video effectively during an emergency. Kerry's going to cover how to make quick turnaround recorded videos, how to do effective live stream broadcasts, also to learn how to prepare, how to title live streams to avoid viewer confusion, key elements to include in an update, how to engage viewers, how to confidently deliver your message on camera. This is going to be great training. Speaking of, our speaker is Kerry Shearer. Kerry Shearer has a wide-ranging background as a public information officer, an emergency communications trainer, a social media specialist, a podcaster, and a conference speaker. He specializes in teaching communications how to use smartphone video and live streaming effectively so that they can create compelling content quickly and position their agency as the go-to resource for information. He thrives on assisting his communications colleagues across the country to enhance their emergency communication capabilities and develop deep social media and web video skills. Kerry is a former longtime communications and media specialist for the County of Sacramento and the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District. He has served as the head of nuclear public affairs for the Sacramento Municipal Utility District's former Rancho Seco
yeah.
Thank you, generating station. Kerry was also a reporter, a news editor, and news supervisor for KFBK News Radio 1530 in Sacramento, and an on-air host at KVIE TV 6 in Sacramento. So everybody join me in welcoming Kerry. Thank you so much for being here, Kerry. Appreciate everything.
Thank you. I can hear the applause. You guys, that is amazing. Thank you so much. It is great to be here. Today, I'm going to talk about, and by the way, I sincerely apologize. This session is going to be very similar to drinking from a fire hose. So you guys, I know we're going to go through stuff really, really quickly, but I want to be able to inspire you to create compelling video content. I don't know what level you're at now. I know there's a variety of skills, but I do want to inspire you. I want to equip you with maybe some new ideas, skills, apps, approaches. I want to build your confidence in your video abilities. And we're just going to do that in hopefully 45 minutes here. So, yeah, I've got a background in public information, crisis communications, so I know a lot of the things that you are facing. And my belief and my bias is that we can use video effectively to be able to reach out to these folks, to reach out to the community during a crisis, and do it with heart and empathy and authenticity. And so we're going to go through some of that today. We know that you've got to be able to make your own content, right? Because you cannot solely rely on the media to get your message out. Broadcast station viewership is at historic lows right now. And really all the attention, or a lot of the attention, is going toward streaming. There's going to be a lot of disruption in this area. As communicators and as emergency communicators, we need to be able to make our own content, have confidence that we're able to do it and do it quickly and turn it around and get the word out there. That's really, really important. And our smartphones, oh my gosh, they are amazing video cameras. I mean, you think about 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, for anyone who's been around a while, and the tech just was enormously large. It was heavy, it was expensive. And now we've got these enormously capable smartphones that can shoot HD, 4K video, they can shoot slow motion, they can record outstanding audio. They let you zoom in or go wide because they've got up to like 3 lenses. And it just lets you add accessories as well for better results. So from this smartphone, you can create amazing quality content if you know how. So let's get into that just a little bit. Camera settings that are going to look better for you. One thing you can do is you can go into your settings and check to see what your video camera settings are. I recommend 1080p, that's HD, full quality HD, at 60 frames per second, so that faster frame rate, that's faster than 30, of course, and it's going to give you smoother video when there is action. You can shoot in cinematic mode if your phone offers that, because that's going to give you a little bit of that blurred background look. That's kind of what I've got going on here. A little bit of a blurred background with the camera I'm using. So it just looks a little more cinematic. And then for those of you who've got 3 lenses, if you have 3 lenses, you can use that 0.05 lens to get a wider shot in tighter areas. And this works well too if you're trying to do vertical video and get a couple of people on camera at the same time. We all know vertical video is of the devil, but we must embrace it for Instagram and some of those other platforms. So you want to know your platform. What are you going to be shooting a video for? All right, in most cases, you're going to want to shoot horizontal, 16:9. And the reason is because you want the media to be able to use your content, right? You want it to look good on somebody's TV. You want it to look good on a computer screen. You want it to look good on, the projector in the boardroom, wherever it may be. People can always turn their phones if they need to. Now, if you're shooting just for Instagram, for example, yeah, you can do vertical video, that's fine. But just keep in mind the end use of your video, what you want it to be used for when you actually shoot it. A lot of people don't think about that. And that is why on the news, a lot of times breaking news, everything you see is like vertical, and there's all this blank space on the sides of the screen. Okay, so that's not good. You don't want that. Now, what can you shoot with? Well, by default, many of us are using our camera app, right? We're using our camera app that comes with the phone. But there's also another one you can try. It's from Blackmagic Design. Blackmagic makes a line of very affordable video switchers and a lot of other support gear for broadcasters and web streamers. But they have a camera app, and I just have it pointed at a green screen here, but you can see it's really flexible. It gives you on-screen audio meters so you can make sure you're getting your audio. Lets you shoot in cinematic mode. You can change the shutter speed, the frame rate, the lens, zoom in, zoom out. So it's got a lot of features. You can try shooting your video with that. I bet you're going to get really, really good results. By the way, I'm going to try to keep an eye on the comments here. So if you have a question or a comment along the way, go ahead and make it. All right, video in a crisis. Here's the deal. Being timely and relevant and establishing yourself as the authority, kind of the go-to resource for reliable information in a crisis is really, really critical. If you aren't there, somebody else is going to fill the void. And you don't want that. You don't want misinformation out there. For example, look, this is a tweet from Ferguson, Missouri, from the jury decision. And within just a short matter of time, this is how tweets go nationwide. So if something is happening in your area, a disaster, whatever it might be, I mean, the word can spread really, really quick on Twitter, on X, on Threads, on any of the socials. And you don't have much time to react. You've got to be there. You've got to have the information and be there quickly. And I think video is a great tool to have in your tool chest to be able to do that with. And it's more than a tweet. I watch a lot of disaster coverage and look at the websites and, all right, here's what I see. And again, my bias, I see a lot of agencies, they'll put out these very terse tweets. And I realize there's a time and a place for that. When, you know, the dam's about to break, you want people to evacuate quickly. Yes, you can do that. But it's more than just that. The public needs to know that you are in it with them. They need that empathy side. They need humanness. We've all seen the news conferences where you've got the person at the podium and then you've got a semicircle of people around the person at the podium wearing uniforms and everybody is very stiff and all of that. There's a time and a place for sure for that type of outreach and that type of news conference. But I think with video, we can do a lot better than that. We can kind of put the heart in emergency response and let people know we're practiced. We know this stuff. We are responding. We are there for them and we're in it with them. All right, video in a crisis builds connection. Video helps you make that human connection and build trust. And by the way, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect can actually be perceived as inauthentic. I've got a whole bunch of examples that I'm not going to play because the people that people might not like the ones that I'm going to play because it's just really stiff, really pedantic types of presentations from an emergency operations center, let's say, and we don't want to be like that. We want to be human. In many cases, this may be that you want to put somebody on who's just super comfortable on camera and is not all uptight about what the presentation is going to look like, how official can I look, and all of those kinds of things. So that's what, as PIOs, as communicators, we can do a better job of that, I believe. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And live video, I think, has a role in emergency response. It's immediate. You just push the button and you go on. Your message is unfiltered by the media. So you are broadcasting directly through your social channels to the people you want to reach, especially if you've trained them where to go, you know, where you on your emergency page or your Facebook page, whatever it might be. But it just, it helps a lot and it is unfiltered by the media. I love what John said. People in crisis need information now and they need enough to do what you want them to do. Right. They just need enough to know what to do because people in an emergency, they want to help. You know, if they're not, you know, haven't been injured in the emergency or whatever, they want to be able to help. They want to know what to do. So we need to be there with those kinds of messages to tell them what to do. Live streaming your major news briefings. Those may occur every 4 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, whatever. That's fine. My philosophy is you need to use video to do frequent updates in between all that. All right, you're at your department operations center, you're at your emergency operations center or your joint information center. Use that time to use some video to do some updates and just, you can regurgitate all of the information that has already been released. And maybe there's some new bits that are approved for release that you can push out that way too, as well as evergreen messages. So you can do all of that. The main elements of an effective live stream is you're doing your intro, maybe your first 45 seconds. Some sort of empathy statement. Hey, you guys, we are in this together. We know that this is having a massive impact on our community. We're here for you. And then your main content. What do you want viewers to know? And don't overwhelm them with too much, but let them know what you need them to know. And then, is there a summary and call to action you can do? What do you want people to do as a result of, what you've just told them? What do you want them to do? Is there an action you want them to take? And then a wrap up. You can ask viewers to share. You can tell them when you're going to be back on, if you know when you're going to be back on, and all those kinds of things. So that gives you an idea. So you'll kind of need a little basic video studio in your emergency operations center or your joint information center. And it's pretty easy to set up. I've got some gear here on screen, but I'm going to show you some different things that we might need. Basically, it's 5 things to set up a little video studio for live or recorded videos. And one of them is having a smartphone, of course, with power and with a power and mic splitter. Now you can kind of see in the illustration just to the right of it what that looks like. That's from Belkin. That works with my iPhone. It's got 2 USBs on it, USB-Cs. And so what that allows us to do is it allows us to plug in power so we're not solely running on phone battery, because your phone will go dead over time if you're heavily using it to live stream or shoot videos with. And then it also has an input for a microphone there. So it's got the microphone input. Number 2, you need a tripod with a smartphone mount. So you've got that so you can have a steady shot, because you want to try to have a steady shot. You need a smartphone mic, and I encourage everybody to get one of these. They're not, they're as cheap as $10 or $12 for a little plug-in smartphone mic, a wired lavalier mic. I think too often we accept really cruddy audio. And you got to remember all the listening conditions, right? People are listening in all these conditions. They're listening while they're jogging, while they're driving, while they're outdoors, walking down the sidewalk in the inner city, whatever it might be. There's a lot of noise. So your audio needs to be as clear as possible. I know the phones, they've got like 12 microphones built in or something, but it's just not as good as actually having a microphone on you. Right now, I'm switching mics. I'm on a little lavalier microphone right now. And this kind of thing will connect to your smartphone. So you've got a lavalier mic, and that way you're going to sound great. It could be a wired mic. It could be a wired mic. It could be a wireless mic, whatever you've got. You need some sort of lighting just to make sure that you're evenly lit. So a lot of people are using things like ring lights or other LED lighting. And then I recommend a branded backdrop that's got your logo or the name of the, your agency on it, whatever it might be. The logo that you see there just says information update. That's a pop-up banner that I use when I do training. But have a branded backdrop or banner or something like that. Now, I've got good news for David. I know David might be a little worried about me going overtime, but David, I've got a massive clock in front of me, so we're going to come in on time, I'm pretty sure. Let me see if I can put the clock back up. There we go. Whoops. Got it. All right. So it's just a little bit of a tech train wreck here. We've got so much going on, but one thing I want to do here is I want to go, in a moment, I'm going to show you some of the gear just so you have a general idea, what it looks like in person. But when you set up a video studio for live or recorded videos, you want to pick a spot in the emergency operations center or the coordination area, wherever it is, where PIOs are working. Set up your gear, set up your branding graphics. Truly, if you have it in kind of like a go bag arrangement, it should be pretty easy to be able to do that, to just set it up very quickly. You want to bring some power cords with you. I didn't mention that in the slides, but make sure you have some power, because you can't rely on anyone else to bring you the stuff that you need to communicate quickly and effectively. Check to make sure that you have a strong cell signal and or a strong Wi-Fi signal. If your joint information center is in the basement, you may not have access to cellular. But hopefully you've got strong Wi-Fi. You want to make sure you've got good upload speed And for live streaming, I would say that's a minimum of like 5 megabits per second. You can use an app like speedtest.net. Have you used that before? Speedtest.net. You can use that to go check your speed and see what the upload and the download speed is, because it is always good to know exactly what that is. I'm just checking the comments right here. John says, thanks for showing phones on tripods. Yep, I know what you mean. All right, great. All right, we're going to continue here. Let me go back. All right, so we're setting all that up. I worked in the City of Santa Rosa Emergency Operations Center. You've probably heard about all the major wildfires we've had here in California. And so I've got some California examples, but this, what I'm talking about today, applies to everything, to tornadoes, to hurricanes, to whatever it might be when you have to communicate quickly. But this was our initial little setup, just crammed in a corner of the EOC in the City of Santa Rosa. I quickly moved to a different location. I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. But I want to give you a closer look at some of the gear. So I've got some things set up here, and let's see, we got wireless on. We're good, so I can walk all the way over here. Let me show you just a couple of things. We talk about a wired smartphone mic, and that's what this looks like. This has one of the longer cords on it. You can easily find these on Amazon, or I'm happy to send you some links. So you've got the smartphone mic. I'm going to give you one little tech bit of information here. Let's see if this camera, is this going to focus close enough? Almost. I don't know if you can see this, but this has 3 black rings on it and 4 metal contacts. If your plug has that, that means it's the right one to work with your smartphone. Although you know that smartphones no longer have this kind of microphone plug, but they have this. They have these little adapters, headphone adapters. So you plug your mic into the headphone adapter, and then you plug your USB-C or your Lightning into your Apple or your Samsung device, if you have USB-C, and you are good to go with your microphone. Keep this in your messenger bag, keep it in your purse, wherever you've got it. You're always ready to do a high quality interview that's going to sound great. Now, the other thing I'm using here, I am using a wireless mic. This is my favorite here. This is from a company, DJI. They make drones, but they also make microphones. This case is not just a case. This is like AirPods, baby. This is full of juice. This is a battery. You open it up, you've got 2 microphones and a receiver, and they are ready to go because they're always charged. You never have to worry about charging things. So this is the DJI wireless mic. This comes in a set of 2, and it's got the mic in the top. But do you see that red light? It might not look red on your monitor, but it's a red light. It's also recording. So that means if you have any problem with a wireless connection, which by the way, I've never had with DJI, you've got a backup recording right on here. You just plug this into your computer and you've got the audio, whatever it is. And then right here, this is the wireless receiver. And the wireless receiver just plugs in with a cable. So you just plug the wireless receiver in and put it on your phone. Or you could use it with a video camera or a DSLR, whatever you've got. And the other thing I kind of like about this whole set here is if you need a hand mic, there's a company called Rode that makes this. Foamy comes off. That goes on. That goes on. Now you've got a handheld wireless mic. So it's pretty cool as far as the setup goes. And anything like that is going to help you. We talked about a smartphone mount. This is one from I don't know if they still make them. It's a company called Square Jellyfish. It's a nice metal mount. Smartphone clips in there. It can go vertical or horizontal, depending on what you want to do, what you are shooting. So you're all set with that. One of my favorite tripods is this one by Manfrotto because it's only 16 inches long, right? So it's not very big. It's a good size tripod. We talked about video lights. Let's go over here to our other camera. Whoops, and I just accidentally hit the white balance. All right, so this is a ring light here. A lot of times people use these, they put their phone right in the middle. You got the ring light. What's nice about it is on the back, it's got a couple of knobs, so you can make it as bright as you want and tune the color temperature to whatever you want. So that's a good way to just have nice even lighting on your face. Let me turn that off. And I'm going over here. Okay, so there's a little bit of the gear. I'm going to go back here. And the question is, how do you use the studio? How do you use your studio? Well, you can use it to do live updates on the crisis. That involves communicating approved information in a conversational way. Producing recorded updates that are quickly edited, you can do that too. And I've done both in those horrible Sonoma County, Santa Rosa fires. And so I've tested out all of this, and it works really, really well. So your studio can be for live, it can be for recorded updates. And when do you go live? Well, you go live when you have something urgent to announce, or you just want to talk about what's happening at the moment, or when you want to involve viewers via questions and comments. And we found, this is what we found in Santa Rosa during the wildfires, where we're implementing all of this. People were absolutely incredulous that we were on Facebook regularly and actually constantly. We had somebody assigned to just Facebook and somebody assigned to Twitter, and they were responding in near real time to questions and comments that were coming in. Not that we always had the answers, but we were responding, and people felt so connected. So what active social media and video can do is really make people feel connected to you and to the response, and build that local trust in the response and what's going on. All right, so that's what to do as far as live or recorded. I'm going to give you a few examples here, just show you a few things. This is what the Emergency Operations Center looked like, and what you're looking at this table is public information. Let me turn that music down. Public information officers. So these were PIOs working during that disaster. And so we had access to all of the goodies there. Everybody had laptops and they were doing their thing. We had a couple of translators. We had people watching social media or responding on social media. Erin there, she's making a news release. So we had all the information there. And I had my video stuff set up like right almost next to that. So we were in constant communication throughout. We had CAL FIRE embedded. So you've got your own procedures in your own areas, but that's what we did in Santa Rosa. And the first thing I did, and I do recommend this if you can possibly do it, if you were a PIO and you're responding to one of these situations, go to the affected area and grab some B-roll video. This is what we did. I went out for 2 hours with an officer. I got short B-roll video clips of everything. And then I came back, put it on a hard drive, and I also had it on my phone so I could edit videos right away. And I have cutaway shots. We used that video over the next couple of weeks or so, and it really was very helpful, very valuable to have that, because here's the fact: most people don't document that stuff when they're responding to the emergency. It's been enormously helpful post-emergency, doing presentations and showing people what happened and all of that. So you want to try to document that as best you can. Make the most of your phone's internal storage by shooting intentionally. And by that, I mean making each shot short and deciding what you want to shoot before you ever touch the record button. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make, I think, is they start shooting and they're just all over the place. So here's what I want you to do. When you're shooting something, I want you to hold steady, unless you're an accomplished professional videographer. I want you to hold steady and just let the action move in front of the camera. And then if you do need to do a tracking shot or some sort of pan shot, what you can do, let me go to the other camera here so I can stand up. I'm sorry, it's still green. Let's see, can I white balance that? There we go. I think we're good. Okay, so what you want to do, if you do a motion shot, is you want to be able to just twist at the waist. Hold your hand steady, twist at the waist. And I want to limit you to one shot per clip. So we decide we're going to go from point A to point B, and I should have gone slower than that, but the idea is just nice and smooth. What a lot of people do is they start here, and then they go over here, and then they go back there, and you end up with totally unusable video because it's not in one place long enough to really establish a shot and then do a motion. So that's the way to shoot. Either hold it steady and let the action move in front of the camera, or do a complete twist at the waist in one move, left to right or right to left. And that's going to work out, I think, for you really well. And that's pretty much what I just talked about right there. Okay, here's a couple of examples of some of the emergency communications. Then we're going to go on to AI. Emergency Operations Center. I'm Kerry Shearer with the communications team on October 11th at 10:30 p.m. The city of Santa Rosa is issuing an advisory evacuation area. This is for Northeast. All right, so what this was is this was a pre-recorded update, and it was literally the first one that I did when I got there, which was in the late evening. And it was just a quick direct to camera type of thing. It was pre-recorded because I believe on this one I dropped in, yes, some maps and things. So on your phone, you just edit it using iMovie or InShot or CapCut or one of those smartphone apps. Let's take a look at another one here. Here's an afternoon update, and this also was pre-recorded, again, so graphics could be dropped in. Good afternoon, I'm Kerry Shearer from the Public Information Team here at the Santa Rosa Emergency Operations Center with an afternoon update for you. The City of Santa Rosa's Local Assistance Center, which opened yesterday. So you can see this is the new view that I set up, so you can see people working in the background, which I think is enormously reassuring. And here's a graphic. Entry at 6 p.m. So how do you make these graphics? You can make these graphics in Canva and do it on a laptop and bounce it over to your phone, or you can use Adobe Express or Canva on your phone and just create graphics, and then you can insert them. So there's another example. This is a live stream example. We had one of the neighborhoods, the Fountain Grove neighborhood, was ready to open the next day, and so we did a live stream on it as soon as we got the information, and the information was approved to release. Here's an example. Hey, we've got some news for you right now. Fountain Grove is opening tomorrow, and the access re-entry period has been extended. Good evening, I'm Kerry Shearer from the City of Santa Rosa Emergency Operations Center Public Information Team. Thanks for coming on to Facebook Live. And we wanted to pop on. All right, you get the idea there. Just a quick Facebook Live talking about the new information. And John, you are cracking me up with your comments there. I love it. Don't be a graduate of the pan, wiggle, wiggle, pan Zoom. Oh, man, it is so funny. All right, so you got the idea there. I'm going to show you one other example here before we go on, and this is re-entry considerations. We had a lot of people asking, when can we get back to our neighborhoods? What's the criteria for deciding that? So we cranked out a really quick video to be able to go through that information. So here we go. It was just voiceover. Video. We wanted to let you know about the considerations that go into deciding when to allow re-entry. If you live in an area that has been evacuated, we know how badly you want to be allowed to return to your home. Emergency coordinators are dedicated. We didn't have some of the captioning apps then that we have now, so we did just on-screen text, but it gives you an idea, pretty simple, just a real easy video. So any of this kind of content you can crank out. And I know you may be saying, but we don't have an AV department. Well, the thing is, I believe as effective communications people these days, we have to have some of these skills. We have to be the AV department. We need to know this stuff. As a matter of fact, it's a great thing for your career too, to be able to quickly turn something around, be confident about it, and just crank it out on your phone. So that's kind of what we're trying to do today here. All right, what else we got here? Video gets results. And this was just that first video. I grabbed some stats on it. That first video we did, that was the pre-recorded video, it had 125,000 reach and 58,000 views in a very short amount of time. So we're getting all of this impact and all of these views. The media is using some of this stuff. It just worked out really, really well. And I think that's the advantage to doing this. You can also take off some of the media pressure by, you know, putting the information out there, having it on video and having it available. Okay, what I want to do right now is I want to talk about some AI tools for video that will blow your mind. We've got a lot that I've been trying to cover today, and I know we got super limited time, but I want to show you some of the tools that if you're not using now, I bet you will be using in the future, because many of the apps that you like or that you're going to start using will have features like these. So let's take a quick look here at some of them. In Video AI, I actually just discovered this a few weeks ago. They create entire videos with minimal text input. It also allows you to clone your voice, believe it or not, so you don't even have to create a script or read a script. I'm going to play back a little video clip here. And this was, I gave it just a general topic about using video to communicate during a crisis. I'm going to play about the first, I don't know, 7 seconds or so, and then more from the tail end of it, because we don't have time to watch the whole thing. But it did it all on its own. I didn't do anything. I didn't even read the script. I didn't write the script. I didn't choose the B-roll. It did it all.
Why is effective communication so crucial during a disaster? Imagine this. In summary, effective communication during a disaster is crucial, and your smartphone is a powerful tool to achieve this. Preparation, clear broadcasting, and engagement are key. By mastering these steps, you can provide life.
Okay, you get the idea there. It did it all. And kind of blew me away. I gave it a voice sample of my voice by reading about 2 minutes of whatever, and it was able to clone me. So there you go. Let's take a look at something else here. ChatGPT. Put a 1 in the chat if you are using ChatGPT to create any content for your organization. I'd love to know. I'm seeing some 1s there. Good. Now, ChatGPT is not going to replace you. ChatGPT is going to help you be faster. And in a crisis, you can do this. So I told ChatGPT, write me a 1-minute video script that covers things somebody should do after a large earthquake hits. And this is what it came up with here. I know you may not be able to read that, especially if you're on your smartphone, but it was really good. Following a large earthquake, it's crucial to take immediate actions to ensure safety and recovery. Here's the steps you should follow. First, check yourself and others for injuries, blah, 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 blah. You can always go through it, see if you want to reorder things, see if there's any inaccuracies. But basically, it wrote a whole bunch of the post-earthquake tips and did it like in about 20 seconds. If that. It was just bam, it was very fast. So you can use ChatGPT, and yeah, we've got a lot of people who are using it right now, along with Grammarly. That's good. Great, John. All right, so that's one of the things you can use. The Captions app. Do you have this? I love the Captions app. It has many format style options. It's just an app for your phone. I believe it may be on desktop also. But you can come up with all sorts of different captions for your videos if you want to do your own captioning, because sometimes that's more effective when you have, fancier captions that draw attention. So it does that. It also has a teleprompter. I've got it in a vertical position there. It puts the words up toward the top, so your eyes are near the camera lens. It's got AI voiceover and voice cloning, kind of like video AI that I just showed. AI trim to eliminate filler words and pauses in speech. Imagine that. It goes through it and eliminates those pauses. It's got speech enhance to remove background noise. I'm going to show you another app that does that in just a moment with a demo. So it's a pretty cool app. It also has AI eye contact. Let's say you need some prompting. You don't have a teleprompter though. You tape your message points to the side of your phone. Just put some tape on the case and you've got some bullet points there. So your eyes are looking a little off camera, but AI with this AI eye contact will correct your eye so the presenter is looking directly at the camera lens even though they weren't. Isn't that freaky? Woo-hoo. Okay, AI speech correction will correct any mistakes in your recorded speech with one tap. You have a mistake? Change a word. And lip dub will make the edits match. Your lips will match. AI director will add zooms and transitions to keep your video engaging. And then they've got background removal. So does Canva, so do a lot of tools. So you can remove the background if you need to put something else behind you. There's an app called Time Bolt. It will sense silences. This is great for podcasters or anything with video or audio. The original file.
And you are?
Oh, I'm Rick.
Rick? I'm Mark.
Okay, so there's lots of pauses, and here's what it looks like when it gets going and does its thing. We click on that, we open our file, and it goes through, and everything in red, those are the pauses and the things we don't want. The green is what we do want. And here's what it sounds like.
Nice to meet you. I'm in charge of HR, and I'll be asking you some questions today. We'll start out with something simple. Maybe just tell me a little bit about yourself, just background.
35 years.
Pretty wild. All right, so that's Time Bolt. They also have check. I'm not going to do the demo on that
And the
right
filler
now,
killer is
but it's pretty interesting. This is one I love, Adobe. A lot of us have access to Adobe products through Adobe Creative Suite through our agency. And if you have access to all of the products, you have access to Adobe Podcast or maybe Adobe Premiere Pro, which has the Adobe Podcast voice enhanced features built in. But it will get rid of all the background noise. It will make a cruddy sounding microphone sound like you were on a broadcast microphone in a radio studio. It's pretty amazing. So Enhance Speech does all of that. I'm going to give you an example here of a video I recorded on the deck of a noisy water treatment plant. That'll be the first thing you hear, and then the enhanced audio afterwards. So here's the original.
What you're seeing today is our groundwater replenishment system, what we call our advanced water treatment facility.
Hear all the background
So
noise?
this is a facility that takes treated wastewater, turns it into ultra pure water that's beyond drinking water quality for use in replenishing the local groundwater aquifer, which is the main source of water for 2.5 million people.
Okay, and here's the enhanced audio.
What you're seeing today is our groundwater replenishment system, what we call our advanced water treatment facility. So this is a facility that takes treated wastewater, turns it into ultra pure water that's beyond drinking water quality for use in...
Pretty amazing. All that background noise is gone. So it's pretty wild. It does that. It also allows you to edit audio like a document. And this is what many of the video and audio editing apps are doing now for those on the desktop where you've got a keyboard, is you can edit video just by eliminating words in the transcript, and it will do the edits for you. So that is a pretty great feature to have. I mean, here's a quick example of this.
In some circumstances, really is not, especially when it comes to our brains so quickly and easily believing every thought that comes into our brains.
Okay, those last few words kind of repeat. So let's get rid of them. Let's just delete them. It edits the video.
And easily believing every thought.
There we go. All right, so really quick and easy to be able to do those kinds of edits with that program.
Let's see what else we've got. I guess we're kind of at the end of the road here because I wanted to make sure that we allow plenty of time for Q&A. Actually, I do have one more thing I'm going to show you. So think of your questions, and David, maybe you can take a look and see what questions are there. I'm going to show you one more thing while we're doing that. Let's go back to the wireless mic. Let's go over to this camera. There's a lot of ways to do live streaming, and one of them is with your smartphone. The other thing, I know some agencies have like a video system where they can do that. This here, this is a system that incorporates in a Pelican case a Blackmagic video switcher. This particular switcher is a $1,200 switcher, but they've got units that are as low as $300 to $500 that have 4 video inputs instead of the 8 that this has. But it's built into a Pelican case with a multi-viewer screen, which would show all of the inputs, all of the cameras, audio levels, and everything right here. And then all you do is, let me close the lid. You plug in, if you can see that, you plug into the back of it, you plug your video cameras in, and on the side, you plug in your audio. So you're all set. You can take this briefcase to your live stream event, and then all you do is plug it into a computer and stream to YouTube, to Facebook, wherever you want to stream to. So for a department that maybe has a budget, you can put this case and the whole thing together for, I think, probably about $2,500 or so, and have a great system, and then add any cameras that you might have sitting around to it, and it's going to work pretty well for you. All right, let's take a look and see what we have in the way of questions. Looks like Kendra needs to drop. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Do we have any questions in the last few minutes here? Let me know. You're free to unmute.
Yeah, everyone, just feel free if you want to ask a question to go ahead and unmute and ask. That was so much information, Kerry. I'm downloading apps while you're doing this. I downloaded a couple early. I was lucky and got the stuff beforehand, so I kind of see. I can't wait now to just get out there and start playing with this stuff.
Yeah, it's great, and that's what it takes. It takes kind of just playing around with it, getting comfortable with it, and before you know it, you're going to have some skills beyond what a lot of your colleagues have, and you're going to be able to create things that are going to amaze people. But more than that, it's going to communicate important information, and that's what our jobs are all about, right?
You absolutely. So you mentioned a bunch of apps. How does it work? Like you mentioned the Blackmagic app to video, and then you mentioned the captions app that would remove the background noise. How do they work together, or what's that? Can you give us an idea what that process is?
Yeah, sometimes what you're doing with a video is you're running it through a couple of programs. So let's say I create my main video and do the edits with the caption app, or another one that I didn't show. It's called InShot, which it's enormously capable. It actually has background removal in it, but it doesn't have great captioning. So I might do 90% of the work with that. And then the last thing I'll do, if I want burned in on-screen captions that gather attention, I will go ahead and run it through the Captions app, run that finished video that I've exported through the Captions app. And then we've got it, then we finish it. So that's what a lot of people are doing, is they're using more than one tool.
Excellent, excellent. Somebody online asked if we got a copy of this meeting. So yes, I will provide a copy of Kerry's PowerPoint. And also, as always, I will upload a copy of this video to our YouTube channel. That'll probably be next week, but you'll get an email from me when it's ready. So we do have another question from Mike Pointer. He asked, what if you are outside in a weather situation, i.e. wind?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. Well, one of the things you want to do, I think, if you're outside in a weather situation,
First off, you do have to have some sort of a mic, whether it is a plug-in mic or a wireless mic. You definitely need to have that. Whoops, did I lose a camera here? Yeah, my demo camera went down. You definitely need to do that. But let me go here so I can just grab one of these things. If you're using a wireless mic, for example, and you have a windscreen on it, you need something like a windscreen to be able to hide that wind noise. So something where you're talking close and have a windscreen on it, that's going to help you. The other thing you can do, maybe you just have a wired mic like this, one of these wired lavalier microphones. What you can do. Sorry guys, I don't know if you can hear me. I didn't have my wireless on. Anyway, what you can do is you can take this and just maybe tuck it so your shirt is slightly protecting it from the wind, from the direct wind. The other thing you can do is you can turn your back to the wind, and that's going to help a lot. Usually the wind is coming from one direction, and if you can use your body to block it, it's going to sound better. And then if you've got the ability, if you're not going live, if you have the ability to use one of those apps to clean up the wind noise, it absolutely will get rid of that wind noise. So that's pretty interesting.
Excellent, excellent. So we have another question from Julianne Hatton. She says, is there any open source or beginner classes on video shooting and editing?
Well, I mean, I do that kind of training, so I'm happy to chat with you. I don't know what all is out there. A lot of times you can do a search on YouTube and you can find stuff. It may or may not be, exactly aimed at maybe the type of videos that you're making, but yeah, there's definitely good information out there. I love teaching this stuff because a lot of people, we get handed the tool, but we don't really get the training on how to use it. So it definitely helps to kind of go through some of the basics on shooting, like the rule of thirds. So if I'm on camera or I'm interviewing somebody, I want to have that person in the 2/3 of the screen, right about there, and have open space between that person and the camera, because that is what looks good. That's what photographers do. So just knowing some of those little tricks really helps.
Excellent, excellent. I have already probably shared your bio with everyone. I will share it after we do this in a follow-up email as well. But what can we find on your website, kerryshearer.com? And then also, what do you put out on Instagram and Threads? I will share those links with people.
Yeah, I've got a link on Instagram. My username is the Livestream Expert, the Livestream Expert on Instagram. So I absolutely, love doing content on Instagram, and I'm responsive to DMs and all of that. So that's a great place. My website is just basic information about what I do and how to contact me. And I put up a QR code. Hopefully the whole thing is showing for you. If you shoot that QR code, I've got a couple of things, a live streaming and smartphone video shooting tip sheets. So this might help the person who inquired about that as well, just having some of those tips to use. So you can try the QR code there. And Julianne, maybe some of those tips will help you.
Excellent. Thank you. I downloaded that sheet this morning. I also signed up for your newsletter, which I think you will get if you do that QR code.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions out there? We've got just a couple of minutes left.
I want to know, for those of you who are still on the call, did you learn something? And are you a little inspired to go try some new things? Let me know.
Well, I can certainly answer that I am definitely excited to use some of the things I learned today. This has been great. Thank you much, everybody. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. I am going to steal the screen back from you, Kerry, and share a couple of things. Don't go anywhere, anybody. We do have a bunch of announcements I want to get through today. We've got a lot of other stuff coming up. But again, thank you, Kerry. This has been great. Everybody has my contact information. As I said earlier, I will make sure a copy of this video goes up to our YouTube page. Upcoming schedule, like I said, we have booked Wednesday webinars through August. So we've got some good ones coming up. We are hosting a risk and communication methodology and strategy class in Frankfurt next week. It's a 2-day course, March 26th and 27th, 8 to 4:30 each day. I still have a couple of seats available. Max capacity on that is 30, and I think as of this morning, I had 28. So if you are interested and can make it to Frankfurt, go to our website and register for that. Also on our website, I was informed this morning via text. I have not checked, but I believe registration is now open for L105, Public Information Basics. That's going to be a 3-day course here in Frankfurt. You will be getting an email from me about the details on that, what you need, how to get registered, all of that stuff. But I believe registration is open for that. Our next webinar, April, is going to be diversity, equity, and inclusion in community outreach and engagement. We have Dr. Kristen Williams is going to speak. She's excellent. That's going to be great. Registration is also open for that. And May, I have registration for May open as well. If you like to do anything with maps and GIS, I've got a good one for you here. Carmela Birdie is going to talk about using GIS to enhance and inform public messaging. So we've got a lot of good things coming up. All of these are open for registration on our KYEM website. You'll be getting emails from me in the future. If you need anything, let me know. I see Rebecca. Yes, there wasn't a place to include your IS-29 certificate for that L105 course that's coming up. You can just email it to me. You can email it to Andrew, who's at the bottom of the course announcement. Either one of those will work, and I'll make sure it goes to the right spot. So with that said, again, thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you, Kerry, for presenting. That was great. I will see you guys next month. So thanks for joining today. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.